Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Miss K here. I am so happy that I get to be here with you, Melinda. It has been a delight to meet you and to get to know you, and it was really random how we met through a twist of fate. Someone brought us together. Okay, let's write essays together. We're gonna go to college. I have my American background. This is gonna be awesome and great, one of my favorite words. And then that kind of changed and that kind of developed into a different role, and I get to know you more personally, still help you and guide you, but things are changing. So, and you're quite the spectacular woman. So I'm gonna give you an introduction, but I think I'm gonna give this to you and to tell us a little bit about you during our little coffee session here.
Okay, so my full name is Melinda Szegedi, as you know. So I'm now in the 11th grade, and now I'm going to hopefully to the 12th grade.
Let's hope, eh?
Yeah. I could be originally a 12th grader right now and have like a final exams, but because I did a lot of competitions, like international competitions, I had to like take 1 year.
Okay. Tell us about these competitions, because these are just a little bit, because these are quite special. So I think that they're super unique, just like you are. So if you want to tell us just a little bit about that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so it all started in 9th grade when I sprained my ankle. I mean, it happens like in every year, at least twice or thrice or something like that. So at that time, I wanted to write an assignment for the national innovation, the junior innovation competition, and I had like very crazy ideas, like all these, I don't know, like bacteria that eat
It's okay, we can figure it out. We'll edit to it.
Radioactive, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we do?
Yeah, so
Donnie, what do we do?
Just continue.
Okay.
So I had all these crazy ideas, for example, the bacteria that eat like radioactive trashes, and I don't know, and my dad was like, come on.
The mind of a 9th grader, right? Like radioactive bacteria. Okay.
Yeah. So,
oh yeah, there's a little bit. It's okay.
So I was like, okay, I have to focus something to a smaller problem, and my dad also like suggested that I have to focus on a very specific problem, maybe a problem that I have, and fortunately I had, in this case, my sprained ankle was my muse.
Sprained ankle was my muse. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually started to search on the net if there is like a electronic bandage for this kind of problems, and it turned out that there were no things like that. So there were like bandages that were like semi-automatic. It was like you put the ice bag into it, and the whole device measures how many times do you have to change, and how long does it take to cool your body parts, but it was not, so you cannot control it. And so I just randomly wrote a one-pager to the competition, and after like 2 weeks I got to the second round. I was like, what? What happened?
So hey, these ideas that I'm having, just writing ideas, cool.
Yeah. And after that I get 50,000 forints to make the whole prototype, and I had 2 mentors. And actually my mentor, my biggest mentor was my dad, because he helped me in programming and prototyping, doing my prototype and everything. I also learned how to put compartments together, microcontroller and like electronic compartment, and so after like 3 months I put together the first prototype. And I don't know, I was really pessimistic, because at the time I was really pessimistic about my achievements. And
that was because of school, or just like
it was school. It was like a really big turn during the 9th grade.
And you didn't really believe in yourself and have the faith that like I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So I like joined I applied to the competition with no belief in myself. So it was completely random. Yeah.
Okay.
And somehow after 3 months after like a 5-minute presentation to a jury, I got a second prize.
Okay.
And
congratulations.
Thank you. And after that, it was really one of my happiest moments of my life when the Innovation Society of Hungary called me that we have like a Chinese international competition and we want you to represent Hungary.
Okay. That's huge. Okay, that's huge. Huge. It's kind of like the start of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
It seems to me, which is incredible and something that we need to encourage. And I think that should be the future. Like so many kids, I think, have the potential, but they don't see it in themselves. So I'm so glad that you were kind of like someone that you took that step and you were like, okay, this is awesome. And then how's your journey and career journey been since then?
Yeah, so and the Chinese competition, I got a first prize, and then I went back to a Shanghai TV show. It was Junior Edison. I got an audience award, and then I've been in China for 4 times. I don't know, different competition, and then on the 18th of April in 2018, we established the E-fásli Ltd.
Okay.
With 4 other co-founders.
That's awesome.
With my dad, with my sister, and we have like a physicist and a financial mentor. And since then, we participated in like a tons of like international pitch competitions, like startup. There's startup competitions. It's just not just about pitching, but about that you have like a place where you have to show your prototypes and your you have flyers. You have to talk to people like a lot for like 12 hours or so.
How do you do you enjoy these pitches and going and kind of like doing these these really serious and adult things? Like, is it something you're passionate about?
I really love to meet with new people, so it was a thing that I really love to do, even though at the end of the day I was like fully tired and I couldn't even move my feet. but I think after the Chinese international competition, I realized how the social network is important. So I just wanted to get a bigger international network. So it was it took, I don't know, 5 minutes, and we changed name cards with each other. With all the competitors, other competitors, and since then, since also the Chinese competition, I think it's really important for students to know that innovation competitions are very different from lexical knowledge based lexical knowledge based competitions, because it's all about your true work. Showing your passions and your skill sets and who you are more deeply. I think in your personality and your thoughts, they can shine through versus a really academic competition, if that's correct. Okay. Exactly, and that's why I loved it. And in these competitions, you don't feel that you're competing against the competitors and our competitors. You feel like you want to show your own work, and it really depends on other circumstances that you win or not. But even if you're there, you already won. So
you've already made it. That's sort of doing. And so, how do you have thoughts on school? Right, this is a lot of time, a lot of travel, a lot of competition, a lot of work. So, what do you how has your school experience been? How's high school been? And what do we have to know about your experiences and just a woman like you? How do you even have time for school these days? So you can tell us a little about that. It'd be great.
Yeah, so it's really hard to take a balance between competitions and work and between school, because you should put your 100% effort in both cases, and sometimes it's just really hard to
Time?
To make time and just to say that, okay, I will get a verse grade. I mean, a verse grade, but instead I will go, what is that? But I will go to like, to an international like conference and make friends, and I don't know, just speak with everybody. So it's really hard sometimes because you want to compensate sometimes, and in terms of like other like mentors and teachers, if you put effort to school or to work, you will experience that from both the teacher part and from both the, I don't know, the, let's say, startup part or work part, people will be, so people will tell you that you should work with school, you should work with your job more. And
so they're telling you can't do both?
Yeah. So like, I mean, if you want to like take, like if you want to do a really high quality like work, and then you couldn't really do school as you want. But
do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So my high school years were a little bit tough because so when I went to 9th grade, it's like it was a whole change. I mean, all the people, we had this when all the, like,
it's not like a store camp. We don't want to say that it's a store camp, but it's kind of, I don't even know in the US like how we would say that, or an American expression for that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
store camp.
So like freshman camp or something. And it was strange because I was in a biology and physics complex class, and we had 35 I had
35 classmates.
Yeah, and it was huge. I mean, in my elementary school years, I had like 23 classmates, and then there was 35. It was a really big change. And the other big change was that I was in the biology part of the class, and there were like 85% of the biology class, the classmates were women. Were girls, and the other part, I think 95% or 99% of the physics part were boys, and it was like it was very interesting because before it was like a 50-50%, and then suddenly we had like, I don't know, the
huge change of ratios.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What was the hardest part about 9th grade for you?
So in elementary school, in my case, I didn't study that much. I read a lot, articles and books both. But I didn't really put a big effort in studying.
And that's not a lesson that we want
our
kids to take home. Put your best effort in, but also like I put a lot of effort into doing sports and everything. But during the 8th grade, we had to prepare for the examination for high school. The biggest challenge at that time was that so I had a math teacher during elementary school who taught me that I'm really bad at math. And there are two like exams. One is literature and one is math. And in literature I got really good points because after like, I don't know, 4 or 5 tests, you just know what to answer or want to concentrate. And at the math, it's absolutely not hard because at the like real test or mock test, I wrote like pretty good points. But what I'm really sad about is that I didn't put an effort into like to the stress relief part, because teachers say that
this is the first point where you can change your life. If you go to a good
in high school, right?
Yeah. If you go to a good high school, you will go to university. If you go to you have like good points, if you have bad points, you will go to I don't know, we say like a collective high school. I mean high school they call it ellenére. And so it's absolutely not true. So I completely disagree with it. My best friends are from so-called like faculty schools, so they're not from high school, and because they had like time to concentrate on like extracurricular activities.
That was really interesting when we talked about this. When I remember the first time I met you, and you told me about this math teacher, and you told me about this story that like they just told me that I wasn't good enough and that I wasn't going to make it. And I think that that's such a difference, and that's something that I've noticed in my practice and I've noticed in my teaching is, you know, the kids would say that like, Miss K, you believed in us. Like you told us, and when you asked us if we were having a good day or how we were, you actually wondered. And you always said that you can kind of put anything that you set your mind to. And I remember I kept telling you that, and that you really can, and how you're just wonderful and great the way you are. And I think that that's something really interesting that I've seen with students, that just the self-belief, and you know, people do a good job of this. And the other thing is like the stress, if we talked about that, and there is not just high school and work, and you have to be ready for all these things. And I remember that we did, you know, homecom.com, and we started using it, and you're like, this helps. And we just did a little bit of breathing, just a little bit of like taking a moment, you know, just to get centered and to kind of just calm down and just to be. And it just helped, and it set the mood completely for the rest of the day. So it's just these little things. And I think you guys need it so much more.
Yeah, exactly. So there are no subject that works without stress handling, but teachers keep saying that this moment will change your whole life, and that's, I mean, first of all, that's not true. Second of all, teachers have to focus on, and if teachers not, but students have to focus on to take time to this stress relief. I don't know, just breathing practices, or just go for a run, or just practicing sports, or everything that helps to relieve their inner stress, because
I think you guys have a lot of stress, right?
Yeah, a lot. Like it's not. I mean, it's part of our mentality too in schools, but also that the teachers, I don't know why exactly, but teachers likes to put like
more
stress on us, because there's the I can't remember the word, mondás.
I don't know what this is. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, so it's like the palm tree grows under like hay or way. Sorry.
Okay.
So the palm tree grows.
So what are they trying to say? They're trying to say it's a metaphor that like the more more pressure you're under, the more you're gonna grow.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you know, we talked about this math teacher who had a special message. If I understand that, like, you know, things under pressure, things are going to get better, and that was kind of what they were telling you. So you have a lot of experiences, especially from high school. And what's the most crucial or vital experience that you learned in high school, if you had to just pick one?
That you shouldn't underestimate time.
Okay.
In terms of time schedule, in terms of the effort, practicing for exams, students are regularly make this mistake that they think that, I can study for this exam overnight, over in one night.
So don't procrastinate, number one. Okay.
Yeah. And also, sometimes students will have like a really stressful or really strict day with 8 or 9 classes and private lessons and sports and everything, and sometimes there has to be time where we just skip all the things. I mean, for example, in weekends. For example, you know that you will have an exam on Monday, but it's Saturday, you're really tired, and then at that point you should decide that you should focus on the like relaxing part, because sometimes you just got so overwhelmed and you don't know where your head is, and it really happens to students that they take up all the private lessons and everything because of school, because of competition, because of everything, and you just don't know where your head is like really, and you don't know if you have an appointment for I don't know, for English lesson and then to Spanish lesson and then to biology, and then you have to prepare for like a really big exam, and you stay up until like 2 a.m. or 3, and you have to wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. So sometimes there are really moments, and it happens to everybody, that you don't know what to do, and I think at the at the last year of high school, so at this year, I decided to use my dad's mentality and mindset, that if you just got so overwhelmed and you don't know what to do, you just have to take a day off. And you have to go to walk, you have to listen to music, you have to take like a really good bubble bath, you have to read. You just
good techniques.
Yeah.
This is like, I think, you know, when we met and I told you this, that like on the calendar and like why I do this breathing and these stress releases, like on my calendar, sometimes it just says space. It doesn't say what it is, what I'm doing, but it just says space. And I know that that's time for me. So centering back, if you had a magic wand, okay, you take this very special magic wand, what is something that you would change, want, kind of like for this experience? What would you do if you had a magic wand?
If I would have a magic wand, I think they're like my mind is like competing against each other, because there's like the really worky part that you should say something about it. You have to like have a better time schedule, and you have to be better. But there's like, I would say that I want to be so I want to be always ambitious and always motivated, because if you keep a level of motivation and keep a level of ambition, then you're not afraid of failing something, that you're not afraid that you will have a so bad day, but and then you have like all the other things. You're not afraid that something happened in your personal life and that will influence your studies in the school day. So yeah, I would say that I would like
just kind of accept, like just have this more like attitude, kind of, that, you know, accept life, that it's not always perfect. It's kind of like a seesaw. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. We're aiming for that balance, but sometimes it's up and down. And that's why when I met you, that was one of the first things that I saw in you, this ambition and this drive, yet this, like, you know, you're just happy, and that attitude. And I think at New Way, that's something that we're really focused on, and like being the best versions of ourselves and keeping motivated, staying ambitious, but also understanding that life isn't always going to be that way. Exactly. So that's why, you know, just having you on and kind of being this mentor and ambassador to the students, it's going to be amazing, because I think you're such a positive role model and they can learn so much from you. And I think this is important. I don't know how you feel, but I think being like kids at your age and in general, even the younger ones, this is something that they need. So, and I don't know, have you seen that kind of in your like years, that's important to have someone who's kind of there for you?
Exactly. So I also did mentoring in the 9th and 10th grade. It was like a program for high school students to mentor students from rural areas of Hungary, for example, the South part. And there, at the time, I had a girl who wanted to be like a sports girl. He wanted to do football, and the only problem she had is she couldn't understand geometrics somehow. She couldn't I don't know, understand.
She didn't get it.
Yeah, and I just started to like play with shapes, and I don't know, just use these videos and everything for kindergarten like children, and she was like, oh, I got something. And after I connected the shapes with the numbers, she got it. So it was a eureka moment for her.
We call it an aha moment. It's called an aha moment when something just clicks.
Yeah.
And I think that you summarize, that's beautiful, that's like perfect, because I think that's kind of like what a mentor is there for. You don't know how,
Yeah.
but they're there to guide you in whatever ways. And it seems like she had the dots, she just couldn't connect the dots,
exactly.
and you connected that. So I just want to leave us on like just the last note, like if you could have a message like for the students that are going to be joining us and for the youth, like what would that message be? Like what would you tell everyone? Like just one, what would be the most important thing that you would tell the students for the future?
For the students and the teacher, I think people get really stressed about their personal life all the time because of relationships, because of, I don't know, by the way, in terms of like girls.
Yeah, it's an interesting body. I know there's so much going. It's a really true issue for sure.
Yeah, and you have to be perfect like all the time. And I read like a really nice book about the mindset of Abi Sabi, which is the mindset of being imperfect.
Love that.
And I think that's a mindset that most of the students should like get or should
embrace.
Practice. Yeah. That it's perfect and it's beautiful to be imperfect, you know, in all terms.
Yeah, I think being yourself, like that's the key, like with us, and like that's what I'm just trying to like reinforce that message, and like with you too, and like with all the work that like just be you, and being you is the best you can be. And we'll go from there. And if it's not okay, it's always not the end. And yeah, it's such a journey. And it's such a journey, and like to work with you, and it's just, I'm so delighted, and I can't wait for what the future has in store.
As I experienced for like a minority of students, it can really work, but for the majority, it really doesn't help and makes things a lot harder. And so when I did the exam, so I did in literature pretty good, so I got a pretty good score, but in math, I didn't prepare myself to like this sort of like emergency situation, and I was like, okay, so I have to really focus on the test. I really have to focus on the timing. If I cannot solve something, don't know something, I just skip it. Yeah. And
so, you know, if I just wanted to go back to like, you're gonna be in your last year in high school, super important year, of course they're all important, but what is it that you think that like you're expecting from this last year? Like what would be the most important and like the greatest help to you kind of as you embark onto the next step of your future?
I think it's self-confidence.
Self-confidence. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
You still think it's missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I started to build it, but it takes a real long time to just make it stable.
Okay.
Because we have all these mock tests, we have these really big exams, we have életre, you know, and all these things require self-confidence to just, after like many practices, even though you made many mock tests and practices, you can still like be your best yourself if you just not if you don't have that stable self-confidence. And I think that's what I will focus on, that even to the
you can go to the area. That's okay.
So even though I do a lot of like practice tests, I will focus on this. I will focus on the coming up, and I will focus on to just build up a like personality, part of my personality that uses the knowledge that I practice and uses in the best way. So I got the highest score for the application.
You know, I always say that like scores are important, but you know, like who you are and like being happy and that's like, in a way they're both important, but I think that's just more important, like your happiness and who you are. And I think that, you know, the message that I want to leave everyone with is that be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself, give yourself a pat on the back, you know, for like all the things that you're doing a great job. And that's something that I really want in a new way, that like it is okay to make mistakes. You know, it's okay to make mistakes. There's always tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day, and we can always be the best version of ourselves. And we're here to help with this process, and I think this is going to be a beautiful journey for us together, and we'll do this. We've got this. So, you know, thanks all of us for listening, and thank you so much, Melinda, for coming today. It was really my honor. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.